Ding dong, The Witcher is dead. And they're blaming the audience. Of course they are. Let's talk about it. But first, a little shout out. Just a shout out to Azura's Crafts. She's absolutely phenomenal, an amazing artist, multi-skilled artist that creates some absolutely beautiful things. The link for this is in the description. This is not sponsored. I just think her work is worth talking about. Absolutely spectacular. So, let's get on with the video. The failure of the last season of The Witcher has been quite an interesting one to watch. I absolutely loved season 1. I think it had a lot of potential. There were problems, but it had potential. And then progressively it got worse and worse. And I did forgive season 2 a little because of the situation in which it was made, but there was no excuse to what happened after. Now, this series has tanked horribly. And then someone came out and said this. They made simplifications to the source material primarily because American audiences wouldn't grasp a high level of nuance and complexity. Wow. That's insulting if I've ever heard it. I'm absolutely blown away by that statement to the point that I've burst out laughing numerous times trying to record this because it's just absurd. It's completely and utterly absurd at this point. First, they strip out all the Slavic mythology. They simplify the Witcher character to the point that he barely resembles the books. And they bring other characters to the forefront that are literally not background characters, but they have their own story and their own motivation, but they insert these characters into the Witcher story and his motivation. Rumours are that this whole thing has been put on hold indefinitely because they have recast The Witcher with Liam Hemsworth. But that's a rumour. The audience blaming for failure is hilarious. We've seen it with The Rings of Power. We've seen it with Star Wars. We've seen it with Star Trek. And oh god, I have a video on that coming next week. This is just absurd and insulting at this point. The whole article is nothing more than a deflection. And it really is. Like, it really, really is. And reading other articles, The Witcher producers blame stupid Americans and emotional young people for show's failure. When a series is made for a huge mass of viewers with different experiences from different parts of the world, a large part of them are Americans. These simplifications not only make sense, but they are necessary. It's painful for us, and for me too, but the high level of nuance and complexity will have a smaller range. It won't reach people. Sometimes it may go too far, and you have to make these decisions and accept them. I'm sorry, are you retarded? I'm sorry. Like, who thought this was a good idea? The fan blaming is absolutely ridiculous. And when you have people behind the show, it's just making fun of the source material, that don't like the source material, that mock it in ways which is really bad, including the games. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And the changes to The Witcher ultimately drove away star Henry Cavill. And it's interesting because a lot of people were sticking around just for Cavill because people like Henry Cavill. It's not Cavill, by the way. That really annoys me. It's Cavill. Like cavalry. I'm sorry, but who are these people making these decisions? Who are these people sitting there making this? Don't they know who read these books? Don't they know who plays these games? So fans of the books don't want nuance and complex storytelling. Fans of the games don't want nuanced storytelling. And I'm going to say a controversial statement, a large part of the audience come from the games. And I know so many people, including myself, that read the books because of the games. This is just absurd to the point of ridiculousness that I've honestly tried to write a script for this video and just thought, what the hell are they doing? What the hell are they smoking? I mean, there's lots of talk that the show is going to be put on hiatus. There's a lot of talk that the show is going to be if it does come back, it's going to be heavily retooled. And I think they wanted a new actor anyway, given the fact that the people behind the show have openly gone after Henry Cavill. There was also a secret Discord of journalists looking for anything remotely problematic about Cavill. Like, the show failed because it's a bad show and you didn't understand your audience. The show failed because you stripped out what made The Witcher good to start with. The show failed because you openly mocked the source material, openly mocked its audience. And the show failed because you are absolutely atrocious writers. There is no two ways about this. It's just, you are the problem. And the best thing they could have done is get rid of all the staff, bring in people that actually like the source material, and they could have brought this show back to its, at least season 1 quality. And despite the issues with season 1, it had potential. It had something. And now, the fan blaming is just ridiculous, but this is absolutely tanked. Completely. The newest season of The Witcher, it's not particularly good at all. And ultimately, they killed it. They killed The Witcher. They stopped it. They stripped everything out of this show and made it a generic fantasy piece. And then they did that god-awful prequel, which was embarrassing, to say the least, on the subject, that was based on a sentence. Even the writer of the books has disowned the show at this point. It's very simple. So, you know, instead of blaming the fans and deflecting the criticism that you received, why not actually create a show that the fans want? Fans want the books on screen. Fans want complex storytelling. Fans want nuance. Fans don't want, I'm a big guy with a sword. And the fans want Henry Cavill. I mean, this guy should be a movie star by now, and he is, but not to the level you would expect. He was like 5 years too late. This is the whole absurdity of this situation is mind-boggling, and I really hope that the next season tanks even harder and gets canned, if they make it at this point. Apparently they're going to start shooting next year, and we'll see what happens, but other rumours are saying that it's just been put on hold. So we'll go from there. So tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.